Hey all, Jake Workmeister coming from 448. Why would, that's across the street. That's not the name anymore.
But through the power of editing,
Yes.
somebody has to hear this.
No. Hey all, Jake Workmeister coming from Kingdom Multimedia, our little studio down in Etna, PA. Just picked up, received in the mail a new little acquisition. I do mean little. This is a Fill Tone Sapphire soprano mouthpiece. Something I picked up for soprano saxophone. And let's go into the history of my experience with soprano mouthpieces. It's not that extensive either. Picked up the soprano in high school. A buddy of mine beat me to it by a couple months. He picked up a Yamaha 475 and he got one of these. Ottolink Modern Production STM. This is a 7-star. And blew through his combo and I liked it. Actually, it was coming from alto sax at the time. It was all I was really playing. Seemed perfectly natural. I was able to get all the notes out. Even the palm keys were pretty much in tune. Of course, they're a little bit squirrelier than alto, but it didn't take long for me to figure out how to do that. So a couple months later, when I was shopping around for soprano, I ended up getting just one of those cheap old Besslers off of eBay, which I ended up using for about 10 years. And went and got one of these. At the time, they were about $100. I think they're up. Let's see what the current price is. Wow. Inflation is cool. So I pretty much stuck to that. Along the line, upgraded sopranos. Got this about 10 years ago. This is a Kessler custom standard. Awesome horn. It's been very carefree. After 12 years of use, I got it serviced a little last year. A couple pads needed refloated, and I think he replaced one. That was about it. It's held up very well over the years. And it's much more free-blowing than the Bessler was. That was kind of a stiff blow. Very spongy feeling mechanism too, cheaper pads. It just never really felt secure, but still worked. So this is far closer to the quote-unquote real instrument. And I kept that Ottolink going on it for years on end. And recently, I don't know what it's been listening to a lot of Wayne Shorter. I was listening to the Link mouthpiece, and a lot of my issues with it boil down to the chamber, particularly in like the mid-range. So from like the first G up until the first E, that area has like this almost duck-like quality to it. Just very, it's just the way the chamber's cut. It gives it this very weird mid-range split, and it makes the horn sound more oboe-ish than I like. My only other experience with soprano mouthpieces, or at least not the garbage plastic ones that come with cheaper horns, was the Rico. What is that? Rico Metalite? Actually ended up giving that mouthpiece to a friend. But I noticed right off the bat, as soon as I put it on, it had a much more woody quality sound that I really appreciated. So I've been going back and forth as to what mouthpiece I should get to try to get that. Of course, I could obviously spend $34 and just get the Rico. Well, what's the fun in that? So I was thinking, my favorite mouthpiece on tenor is the Fill Tone Sapphire. And despite getting a ton of mouthpieces, they just kind of pop up out of nowhere. You know, through horns, acquisitions, cases, just pieces that people are looking to get rid of. I have a pretty good collection of tenor mouthpieces, all with around the same tip opening that I like. But the Philtone Sapphire was the one that I really love. Still do. It has the right amount of cut, control, anything I could think of on tenor, it pops right out on that mouthpiece. And it has that just enough mid-range cut where you're not getting buried into the mix, which is why I got off my Ottolink New York STM. And just recently saw another local band with a great sax player, educator in town, who was actually running one of those New York Links, and I asked him what he thought about it. He's like, I love everything about it. Have all the control in the world. It's too tubby with no cut. Which is exactly why I stopped using it. So all this is going on, and Phil from Philtone Mouthpieces was actually showing off a new alto piece they created, and I'm like, you know what, man, you just twisted my arm. I've been thinking about this for a while now. Let's get a Sapphire soprano mouthpiece and see what it does. So that's what I did. Shipped directly from Paris, France. It got to me within 8 days. And well-made little piece. The moment I slapped it on, I used a clarinet Rovner dark ligature, which are not all made equal. They have sizing charts as to which one fits what mouthpieces. Don't believe them. Just go to your local music store, have them pull out their entire collection of soprano and clarinet ligatures, try them on until you find something that fits, because we went through about 6 or 7 before I found one that did what I needed. So that was that. Slapped it on the soprano, used the same reeds that I've been using, which are Van Doren 3s. Yeah, the Java Green Box size 3. Universal through both. Now, the one thing I did do with the Philtone, it's only a 4 tip opening. It's a little bit more narrow. I wanted that to kind of hone in like those duck-like qualities. I thought some of that might have to do with that bigger tip opening on the Ottolink too. So I'm going to try a couple sounds, hear how both sound in context with the backing track behind it. Then we're going to discuss that. So one thing I did notice as recording, for one, I'm in a warehouse, we have the heater blasting, so trying to keep the reed moist has been kind of tricky all day. 'Tis the season, that time of the year. Real dry air, but one thing I did notice as I was playing, fill tone was coming out a little bit flatter than usual, and that, or more so than I like, and that's on me. So I'm going to experiment with that, push it down a little bit further. That cork is set for the Ottolink. They've been working with each other for years, so it only makes sense, where it's perfectly tuned to that. This one, it kind of stops right at that line, so I'm either going to have to add some more cork grease or sand that cork down just a little bit. But initial impressions, when the reed is moist, you heard on the Ottolink, I was able to get up to that high F sharp very easily. It was a little bit trickier on this, unless I took the reed out, soaked in a cup of water for a couple seconds, and then tried again. Unfortunately, by the time I hit record with everything, it dried up enough where I was ghost noting that. So that's something I'm going to have to work with. The voicing is a little bit different on it. Not too much, but so far I'm getting like maybe a 90% success rate on hitting that high F sharp. I think give me some time, pre-moisten the reed and let them soak in the water a little bit. That should iron that issue out. But as far as, for one, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Everything sounds a little bit darker, more spread. And that was the big goal right there. So everything is coming through as I want it. Sans that F sharp, but that's more of a moisture issue. Has nothing to do with the mouthpiece. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. Control response is awesome. A couple things I'm still ironing out, but that's just the difference in mouthpieces and little things I need to figure out as a player, which happened by spending more time on it. By the way, recording this was the second time I've actually used the mouthpiece, so that says a lot, especially on this pitch and on soprano. So I'm going to spend more time with it, maybe do some more recordings with it, full songs down the road, and I can't wait to take it out on a gig. It's a great piece. Phil, you knocked it out of the park again. Thank you very much.